Good day, sir. I am Lionel Friedrich L. Tatoy, and together with me are the members of the fourth group, and we are going to present to you our moral experience, of course, involving a crucial moral dilemma in which we try to answer. So, in this case, we entitled it The Face of Moral Dilemma Following the Dakota Access Pipeline Project. So, for our moral dilemma, the Dakota Access Pipeline is a project to be built by the Texas based Energy Transfer Partners designed to transport as many as 570,000 barrels of crude oil daily from North Dakota to Illinois. So the project faces a multiple outcry or protest from other environmental groups and the Native American tribes such as the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, as the pipeline would travel underneath the Missouri River. So this Missouri River is the primary drinking water source of the said tribe. So in this phase of moral dilemma here, we are acting as the government because this particular situation is a manifestation of a systematic moral dilemma in which our action or our decision impacts the lives of the people involved. So as a government also it is our responsibility to look after the welfare of our people. So we are torn here between two options. First, is to stop the project, knowing the fact that it's going to have a negative impact on the aspect of the economy of a particular state or a country. Second is to continue in hopes of economic prosperity, knowing the fact that it would compromise the environment and the marginalized communities, such as the tribe.
It was on July 25, 2016, in which the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers approves the portion of the Dakota Access Pipeline route that crosses the Missouri River under Lake Wahoo Reservoir, half a mile from the Standing Rock Show Tribes Reservation. So the 3.8 billion pipeline route is nearly 1,200 miles and will carry half a million barrels of oil a day from North Dakota to Illinois. So the Standing Rock Show tribe are against with the project because the oil spill could pose an existential threat to the tribe while polluting their water supply. In the worst case scenario of the spill is that it is highly pressurized, which could spill out thousands of gallons of crude oil per minute. The pipeline would also cross sacred ground, specifically the burial sites and the Missouri River, less than a mile from the Standing Rock Show Reservation. Millions of people depend on the Missouri River for their drinking water. So the stakeholders that were involved in this scenario or in this case are the Energy Transfers Partners, in which they held accountable or responsible for the operation of the project, the Dakota Access, who was the owner of the Dakota Pipeline, the Standing Rock Show tribe, who who were the Native American tribe that was greatly affected by the operation, and they, of course, the United States environment groups, because environment is also greatly affected by the pipeline, and the United States government who will decide whether to push through the operation or to stop, given that it affects the tribes and it affects the environment itself.
So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. So, today I'm going to present the step three, which is the articulate the dilemma. So, first, we have to push through the project, knowing that it has a great potential in harming the environment and can result to displacement of indigenous tribes inhabiting the area. So, muna ang first na mapag-articulate sa dilemma is to i-push through ang project, sir, even though nga makakos siya og great harm sa environment like the soil, the other vegetation since kato siya nga pipeline, sir, is mag-release man siya og oil that can contaminate the water, and that water, sir, is the source of water food sa mga local, which is the indigenous people, and also maka-impact po siya, sir, sa displacement sa indigenous na mga people from sa ilahang original nga area from ibalhin sila, which also makakuan sa ila since maguba pod ilang way of living, sa ilang mga culture and tradition since wala naman sila sa ilahang kaugalingon nila na environment. And the second one is to cease the operation of the project to give way to the local inhabitants, which can gravely impact the economy of the country. So, ang ikaduha po nga dilemma, sir, is to stop the operation or katong pipeline para mag-give way or gaan og chance ang mga local or katong mga indigenous people na ma-preserve ilahang economy or ilahang area, and also it can ano sab sa ilahang as well as sa environment, like dili na makontaminate ang water, dili na makontaminate ang soil and other vegetation, but it can also have a great impact sa economy because dako siya nga kwarta ang ma-loss, which is billions and millions pud nga kwarta ang ma-loss sa economy, which is a great impact na pud siya, even though nga ma-save ang environment and also the locals or the indigenous people sa ilang environment, but also na po siya big impact sa ilahang economy or sa economy sa whole nga area.
So in these slides, the step 4 list the alternatives. So first is to relocate the lookout tribe granted that the following benefits will be sufficient. Compensation for the land, sustainable livelihood program, housing. And the second alternatives to continue operation granted that suited construction, regular checking of the area, and regular monitoring or maintenance. It satisfies also the company. The third alternative is to reroute the pipeline to preserve the environment and the IP rights of the inhabitants.
And now we proceed to our fifth step, which is to compare the alternatives with the principal. So for our first alternative, we are going to relocate the local tribe, and this is going to be supported by the deontological ethics by Immanuel Kant. So according to Kant's categorical imperative, particularly the second category, he said that you have to act so that you treat humanity both in your own person and in the person of any other human beings, never merely as means, but at the same time end. So here, although we try to relocate the local tribe from their native land, this is done to pave way for greater opportunities for both parties involved. And that fact alone is an example under the principle of utilitarianism, because that is done for greater good, for the greater good of the greater number of people. However, here we focus on the deontological ethics by Immanuel Kant, because although we are relocating these people, displacing from their original land, we are giving them humane benefits in order for them to sustain their lives and in order for them to live on as they were displaced. So, by giving them benefits such as compensation for their lands, livelihood programs, and any other income generating activities and housing projects, we are trying to support these people in their new life and new endeavor. So, by giving them compensation, we thought that it's going to be a justified resolution to compensate for their precious native land. And by giving them also a livelihood program, we thought that it's going to be an effective way for them to be able to learn how to sustain their lives by by allowing them how to earn money in new ways and how to generate more income generating projects or activities. And again, as we try to displace them, we believe as a government that it's our responsibility to look after these people. So by not leaving them behind, by giving them a housing project, houses to sleep on and to rest on or to we thought that we are giving them full benefit of their rights. So as a government, we value these people as our own. We value these people not because they are seen as the minority of our society. They live under or at the bottom of the social pyramid, and we see them as an inferior human beings than any other or amongst us. However, we thought that these people are one of us. So their welfare is our happiness, our own happiness as a government, and their happiness will only be granted if their needs are being met. So in order for them to be happy, our responsibility as government is to provide these people what they're needing so that relocating them would be a justified action. Also, as a government, we are trying to hold on to our core values and our accountability, because in the vulnerable times like this, our negligence or our recklessness could be a potential harm to these people. So by that, for instance, that we are neglecting these people and we are reckless towards them, that is going to be punishable by the law.
Our second alternative is continuing the pipeline operation while dili pod pahawaon ng mga tribe nga nagpuyo nga area. So, our alternative falls under two theories, which is the utilitarianism and the virtue ethics, which is the eudaimonia. Ang eudaimonia is based na siya sa pre-operation. Kaya itong selection sa route, there was an article released last 2017 or 2018 na ang nakabutang ato kay the first route was on the northern part of the Bismarck. So, compare sa karon nga route, mas layo na siya og mag-need og road and water crossing, more road and water crossings. So, ibig sabihin mag-require po og kanang mas dako-dako nga gasto, mao tong gi-reject sa company ang katong first route. So, this reason was just a company satisfaction niya kay sila ra may maka-benefit. Wala nila gi-take into account ang opinion sa tribe or kanang unsay epekto sa tribe. So, morning mo fall under siya sa eudaimonia, which talks about personal satisfaction. So, di ba, duha ka theories ang na-involve sa mo second alternative. The first one is the eudaimonia, itong gi-explain ako earlier. And the second is the utilitarianism, which is continuing the pipeline operation while ang tribe kay dili pod pahawaon para maka-benefit pod ang duha ka party. Operation will continue granted nga there is a solid construction of the pipeline and naa po regular check-up or monitor sa pipeline to ensure nga walay leakage nga mahitabo kay so far as of 2016 less than 200 gallons pa lang ang na-leak sa oil. And the positive thing about it kay sa surface construction ra siya nga leakings wala sa underwater. So mao man tong main concern sa tribe nga dili maapektuhan ng water kay mao man ang ilang main source of drinking. So that's all for our second alternative.
For our third category, we are going to relocate the route of the pipeline, and this is going to be supported by the justice and fairness and the natural law of St. Thomas Aquinas. So, naturally, the indigenous people of the state of Dakota are protected by their IP rights. As a matter of fact, there is this called the American Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous People, recognizing that the rights of these people, the indigenous people, are both essential and of high significance, historical significance to the future and the present of the America. And the existence of their culture, the indigenous culture and their people as well in the America is important to their humanity. And it also recognizes that right recognizes the respect for the traditional, the indigenous knowledge, the culture, and the traditional practices that contributes to the sustainable and equitable development and proper management of our environment. So, unlike utilitarianism, no matter the prosperity it brings to the country or the state, displacing these people, this tribe, is going to be unjust because it violates the inalienable rights of these people as human beings. So we thought that by rerouting this pipeline, this is going not only to prevent the destruction of the environment and our natural resources, but also we are allowing this tribe to preserve their way of life, including their culture and tradition. And moreover, St. Thomas Aquinas introduced the human law, which is one of the four tenets of the natural law, which upholds the right of the citizens in a society. So this human law, or let's say the civil law, is also essential in maintaining the peace and order in a society, which includes the right to life, the right to property, the right to etc. So by recognizing the indigenous people's rights of these local inhabitants, continuing the pipeline operation would be unjust, and it's going to violate the rights of these people. Hence, we thought that it would be a clever, or it would be the best idea or decision to just reroute the project because it's going to be safe and it's going to be critical.
Next is this steps number 6, which is weigh the consequences. By relocating the tribe, changes in their way of living will be challenging. Their culture and tradition will follow an eventual erasure, and discrimination against them will jeopardize their lives. So, pag-weigh ng consequences sir is by relocating the tribe. So, since wala naman sila sa ilang old na place or sa ilang location, so pag-perform sa ilang way of living will be challenging for them because lahi naman ang place nga ilahang gibalhin sir dili man pareha sa ilahang old na place nga naanad na sila or dito sila nagdako. Familiar na sila unsa ilang mga buhaton, ilahang mga kanang source of income, lang or in general ilang way of living. So by relocating them sa bag-o nila nga place, so ma-challenge jud ang mga indigenous or the tribe nga mo perform sa ilang way of living or sa nila pag-start. It will hard for them to kanang maintain sa ilahang new nga places na bag-ohan man sila or bag-o para sa ilaha. And also their culture and tradition were well eventual erasure or an eventual erasure. So maybe some of their culture sir is magpabilin sa ilaha since some culture and tradition is ma-perform ra sa ilang self or naadyo na sa ilang self or but some other culture nga like mga sacred nga mga places like mabili nila sa ilahang old nga tribe. So of course, so ma-erase na to sa ila kay dili naman to la maadtuan, dili na to nila ma-visit. So it the longest run sa time dili na to nila mapasa sa ilahang mga anak or sa uban na new generation. So eventually mawa na jud pud to sa ilahang culture and tradition. And last one is the discrimination. So since naman sila sa bag-o nga place and naapoy ubang mga tao nga namuyo ngadto, so dili jud malikan nga ma-discriminate sila sir since lahi man ilahang way sa ilang living, pag-perform sa ilang daily lives and maybe ilahang appearance lahi pud sa ilaha and kanang we all know nga if namo jud yung mga kuan nga if malahi i-judge jud nato dayon so dili jud malikyan sa mga tribe nga ma-discriminate sila since bag-o man sila atong nga lugar and igo ra pud sila ni balhin so dili jud malikyan nga i-judge sila sa uban ng mga person nga namuyo ngadto and in general so by relocating the tribe kanang maglisod jud sila adjust since bag-o nga place so bag-o na pud nga way sa living and also ilaha pong culture and tradition maybe madani lang o bandili so ma-erase and the discrimination. So that's it for the first way the consequence.
The consequence of our second alternative will be by continuing the operation of the project, economic prosperity will be guaranteed with the state receiving 110 million USD annually. However, environmental deterioration will be inevitable as well as gentrification of the tribe.
Next, by relocating the route of the pipeline, it would cause financial burden to the company as the project itself is expensive, with its cost amounting 3.78 billion US dollar. However, we thought that the money that will be generated from the project once the rerouting is successful will be more potentially it will be potentially more than the cost of the project itself. And on the flip side of the coin, the indigenous people will get to live their lives as they always do, and the environment will not be put in harm. And now we are down to our final step, which is to make a decision. So, after a long way of considering things, weighing different factors, and viewing it through different perspectives under the different principles of these philosophers, we have come up with a win-win solution, which is to cease the operation in that particular area affecting the local tribe, and then reroute the project to give way to the local inhabitants, which can gravely impact the economy of the country. And our explanation for this is that the local tribe is going to be protected by their IP rights as always, as mandated in their federal constitution. And going against that is unjust and also punishable by the law. Also, their culture and tradition will continue to flourish, which means that we're preserving them for the future generation to see and appreciate. Next, the environment will not be damaged. So, in other words, we are preventing a ton of billions of toxins that will deteriorate the health of the body of water where these people get their fresh drinking water from. And lastly, albeit expensive, the money to be generated from this project will be more than enough to compensate for the reroute expenses. And that is all for our presentation, sir. Thank you for listening and God bless.